10 minutes from now, a little buy or sell to close out hour number one of the program. You want to give the listeners a little preview of what to expect in buy or sell today, Producer Evan? Just a little tease. You don't have to give anything
A lot
away.
of Cardinals schedule talk. Maybe some talk about the Diamondbacks and their upcoming series.
Okay. So all of that coming up in about 10 minutes on buy or sell. And let me just say, I love the this is our inside radio term, the P1s. Just means the diehards, just means the guys and gals who are with us every single day on the lunch break. They never miss a single second. I love our P1s. I love our diehards because they are who they are, and we embrace them for who they are. So I called out John, our defending Take Friday champion, and his response to me was, "I'm working." What do you think we're doing, John? We're working too. You don't see it stopping us.
This is our job.
Yeah.
Keeping the lights on.
I need to see that. I need to see that phone line light up with you having a take. Now, our other big P1, and I thought about saving this. I could now that I've seen it. I got an email.
Paul.
So you know who that is. Again, that's why I love our P1s. If I see an email during the show via our inbox, and by the way, if you want to email into the show, all you have to do is just go to the app, you hit the little feedback button, and then general feedback, that's your way to email into the show, and then I see all of the emails. Paul has put out a pick.
Cardinals?
No, he has a pick for the Preakness tomorrow. So this is, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I know exactly what Producer Evan's going to do the moment I say this out loud. You're gonna be in.
I ride with Paul.
You ride with Paul. You're 0 for 1, but you ride with Paul.
What do we got, Paul?
Paul is going with River Thames to win.
River Thames?
River Thames to win the Preakness tomorrow.
It's a name that definitely was not in the Kentucky Derby.
All the email says is River Thames will win the Preakness tomorrow. Now, Paul could email in and make up a horse's name, and I would just read it out on the air. So we need to make sure that horse is in the Preakness. I don't think Paul would troll us like that, but Paul has offered up his pick. Are you? I can already see you. You've got the phone out. You're ready to go. You're paying. You're looking it up. You're like, what are the odds?
Yeah, I gotta see what odds we get on River Thames.
You got to know what odds we get. Okay, well, while you're doing that, let me get the show back on track. The NBA playoffs getting closer to an end. We've got a very important Game 6 tonight between Boston and New York back in Madison Square Garden. The Nuggets last night forced a Game 7 by beating the Oklahoma City Thunder, but we are just a few days away from the conference finals. Before you know it, the NBA finals will be here, and then it will be the summertime. It will be the offseason of Kevin Durant. Probably have a new coach by then for the Phoenix Suns. We'll have a lot of stuff to digest as a fan base. So before we get there, I want to put together a list. And normally we do lists. We have the music. Not that kind of list. But I think we need to put down the teams that actually may be interested in the Kevin Durant sweepstakes. Because if the Suns are going to make this trade this summer, we expect that they will. We expect that is what they want to pursue. Who may be calling them? Because depending on who you listen to, depending on who you read, depending on whose information is getting out latest, those teams and their interest varies. So I want to put together the official lunch break list of teams that we think are going to be interested in Kevin Durant this summer. You look like you want to give me the odds on River Thames to win the Preakness. You just look like you want to share those.
River Thames is 9-2 to win the Preakness.
I knew you had it written down. I could just see it in your face.
Win probability.
You wanted to just completely derail my Suns segment to give me those odds. I could just feel it.
But I didn't want to. I was going to lay out.
No, you say that, but I'm looking directly at you, and I can see the grin on your face because you have the numbers, and you're waiting. You're waiting for me to be done. You're waiting for me to have the list on. You're like, oh, Chris, I ran the numbers. Here you go.
Well,
I can feel it.
I came up with a segment name, Paul's Preakness pick, but then I was like, well, it's not always the Preakness. So we just...
So not only
did the alliteration not work.
So not only did you have the odds, you are very much producing a future segment. I don't even know what would we do. That's not it's not even a full segment. It's just it's a pick and then we move on. I don't know what to do with that.
It's completely pointless. Yeah, let's just move back.
You know what?
The alignment.
Not aligned right now. This program is not aligned. We are not on the same page.
Speaking of alignment.
Okay.
The alignment.
what teams are interested in Kevin Durant?
There you go.
Right
Now that's producing the program. That's getting us back on track. Did you hear what I said? Do you want to help contribute to this list?
Yes, I have some names.
You have some team names. Let's start with the team name that I think is going to cause the most debate. Do we put the Houston Rockets on this list of a team that's actually in on Kevin Durant? I read a story today that said anytime that Kevin Durant's name has been brought up between the Suns and the Houston Rockets, it's come from Phoenix's end of the phone. Houston is not calling up the Phoenix Suns to talk about Kevin Durant. It's the Suns calling up Houston, or in the midst of a conversation, the Phoenix Suns are bringing up Kevin Durant, not Houston. And there's talks of they don't know if he's a good fit because of how old he is compared to their young core. So what do we do with them? Do we actually put them on the list? Part of me says no. Part of me says Houston doesn't go on this list until I see reporting that points me in another direction.
I agree. I just don't think they're actually in it. I think they're in it. I just don't think they've actually expressed any interest.
So now we've opened up a real can of worms for ourselves. Because if Houston's not on the list, who is on the list?
Ready for my pick? My out-of-nowhere pick? Well, not out of nowhere, actually.
Okay.
I think that I heard this morning.
Okay.
That Daryl Morey is interested in moving the third pick.
The alignment.
You and I aligned. I want the 76ers on this list.
And I think the Sixers should be on this list.
They are not. What was Daryl Morey said what? We are not running it back? We are running it back? He said something.
He said they're running it back, but they're also willing to move the third pick, which I think running it back doesn't mean you have to do it with the same three.
No, but
it just means that you're trying to make a run right now with Joel Embiid.
You're running back the idea of we're in a championship window, right? And I saw right after the draft lottery, there was a CBS Sports story that put out a bunch of different trade proposals after the draft lottery, and one of the ones that they had was Paul George and the number 3 pick coming to Phoenix for Kevin Durant. So this is not seemingly out of nowhere. Would you want the 3rd overall pick? Would you want Ace Bailey, right? That's probably the guy who's going to be there at number 3. Is that enough for you to move Kevin Durant and take on Paul George? You're taking on a younger player, yes. You're also taking on a player who has a longer contract. He's got more years left on his deal than KD does. And do you want the playoff, or do you want the podcast P antics? Because he is returning to his podcast.
Yes, great troll by the
it was in the Chargers,
Los Angeles Chargers
video where they put up a missing sign for Podcast P, and then over it said found. It was amazing. It was very good. So you have to ask yourself if that's enough of a return. But all right, 76ers on this list. Anybody else?
So 2 weeks ago, I would have told you the Timberwolves, and I want to get into it. The playoffs have changed that now.
And here's the other team. The Knicks. What do I do with the Knicks? If they win tonight and they beat the Boston Celtics and they're in the Eastern Conference Finals, that's over. That's over. That's where that fan base wanted to get to this season.
If they lose this, if they blow to this 3-1 lead without the Celtics having Tatum, it's a serious conversation.
Yeah. We are going to have some of those tough conversations
of whether they want Kevin Durant.
Yeah, you go up 3-1
and you lose that series without Tatum.
Without Tatum, you're back in on this list.
Also starts a lot of conversations about Tatum, but we'll get into that
It
later.
would yes, but don't do this. Don't do a show way before a show. Don't do that. So Timberwolves, we don't want to put on the list. Knicks, we don't want to put on the list right now. Do you put Dallas on the list? Do you put San Antonio on the list?
The other one I was going to put was San Antonio, and I'll tell you why. They are another team who moved up in the lottery and had this gift from the NBA gods.
Sure.
To pick number 2 and make a splash move. They have Wemby. They have De'Aaron Fox. We talk about it as a league of pairs.
Dynamic duos, how I call it.
But they could be willing to get over that hump and get those guys playoff experience. How long can you go without making the playoffs with those two before we got to go make a splash?
Yeah, I just think for all the reasons why we don't want to put Houston on the list, I think San Antonio is in their life cycle as a team behind Houston. So if Houston feels like Kevin Durant is too old for their window, wouldn't San Antonio feel the same way? See, Dallas I want to put on the list because they're star chasing. Now, you're not getting the number 1 overall pick for Kevin Durant. Let me just make that very clear. But Can you make a trade and get something back of value from Dallas, future firsts, or you work in another team and get some assets from a different place? That could make some sense. Dallas might be big star hunting. But if we're removing Houston, we're not sure on San Antonio, Oklahoma City right now, depending on how they play. I saw a reporter this morning mention the Nuggets as a potential team that could be interested. Not reporting it, but that they should call if they fall short of a championship this summer. I don't know about that. See, this is why I wanted to do this exercise, because when you remove the Rockets and you say the Rockets are not on the list, who do you have left? Our buddy Sean brought up a really good point. We've talked about this team in the past. They should go on the list. Put the Miami Heat on the list. Desperation, a place that Durant might want to go to. They're looking to make a big splash. But see, you need a team that's willing to make a big splash. And so that's why you have Philadelphia, Dallas, Miami, and that's about it.
San Antonio, for the same reason I feel about football teams trying to win with quarterbacks on a rookie deal. How long are you going to have Wemby on this deal?
Well, I also need to see Wemby come back.
But then you're going to have to extend him.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have to see him come back. I know that's tough. But they're going to have to extend him for big money. He's going to get a max contract. And when they get to that point, you then can't.
You're limited in what you can do. Yeah.
This is your opportunity to make a big splash. And you don't have to sit with it that long, right? It's a 1-year thing.
I just think our logic for why we are on the fence about Houston
is the same.
Same logic that applies to San Antonio, but I think to a bigger degree, because I think San Antonio is a step behind Houston. And so you put Houston back on the list? Okay, I can entertain San Antonio being on the list. I'm just not sure. And so the reason why I wanted to do this exercise is I just don't know how many real, true teams there are.